Elizabeth was a beautiful princess. She lived in a big castle and had big, beautiful princess clothing, and a crown, and makeup, and everything she could want. And she was going to marry a very, very handsome prince named Ronald. She was very happy. Her life was perfect. Until the day the dragon showed up. The dragon smashed down Elizabeth's castle. She burnt up everything with his fiery breath, snatched up Prince Ronald, and flew off with him back to his cave to eat Prince Ronald later as a snack. Well, Elizabeth sat there in ashes. Her pretty clothes had been completely burned off. Everything had been burned to soot, and she sat there, naked, in her ashes, wondering what the heck had just happened. What had happened to her perfect life? Everything was ruined. Well, Elizabeth, she wasn't going to let this stand. She was going to go get Ronald. She did not want Ronald to become a dragon snack. So she decided she would go rescue Ronald, get him back, build a new castle, and get her perfect life back. But first she would have to find something to wear, because she couldn't go out just dressed in ashes. So she searched, and she searched, and she searched all over her castle. But the only thing she could find that wasn't burnt to a crisp was a paper bag. So, dressed in a paper bag, Elizabeth went off looking for Ronald. It was easy to track the dragon because she followed the path of burnt force and horse's bones. And then eventually she came to a big cave with a door knocker on the side. A big mountain, I should say, with a door on it with a big knocker on the door. Well, that's something like this. So Elizabeth, she knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. And the dragon opened the door and he stuck his head out and he said, "Oh, a princess! I love to eat princesses, but I've already eaten the whole castle today. Come back tomorrow and I will eat you tomorrow." And he slammed the door shut, and he slammed it so fast that Elizabeth almost got the door caught on her nose. Well, Elizabeth, she was determined. She wasn't going to turn back now, so she knocked on the door harder. And the dragon opened it back up and he said, "I already told you! I have already eaten the whole castle today. I am very full. I do not have time to eat you. Come back tomorrow. I am a very, very busy dragon." And he went to close the door, but Elizabeth stopped him. She stuck her foot in, caught the door, and she pushed it open. And she said, "Dragon, is it true that you are the most magnificent, fastest, strongest, most fire-breathingest creature in the whole world?" And the dragon said, yes, that is all true. That is all very, very true." Elizabeth said, "Is it true that you can fly all the way around the world in just 10 seconds? And the dragon said, "Oh, yes, that is true. Watch this." And he spread out his wings, and he took off. And he flew all the way around the world in just 10 seconds. He got back, he was very tired, he was panting a little bit. But Elizabeth thought that was great. She said, "Magnificent, that is so wonderful. Can you do it again?" And the dragon, he said, "Again?" And she said, "Do it again, you're the most magnificent, strongest, fastest creature in the whole world." And the dragon, he said, "Okay, I'll do it again." So there he goes again. All the way around the world. This time it took him 20 seconds because he was pretty tired. And when he got back, he was really, really tired. And he was breathing hard. And he was ready to take the nap. Elizabeth said, "Dragon, is it true that you can breathe out so much fire that you can burn up 10 forests at once?" The dragon said, "10 forests? I can do much better than 10 forests." And he breathed in. And he breathed out. And he burnt up 50 forests. Elizabeth said, "That is magnificent. Do it again, do it again." And he said, "Again?" She said, "Again, again, again, again." So he did it again. So he breathed in really big. And he blew out so much fire that he burnt up 100 forests. And Elizabeth, she was really excited now. She was jumping up and down, jumping up and down. She said, "Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again." The dragon, he didn't want to do it again. But he couldn't, because this girl really needed him to do it again. So he breathed in. But all he could breathe out was a tiny little puff of smoke. He didn't have so much flame left. He didn't even have enough flame left to roast a meatball. Well, now the dragon, he was really tired. He was tired of breathing, and he was ready to sit down. Melissa said, "Fly around the world one more time. Show me that you can do it. I bet you can do it in 5 seconds." And he said, "Woman, I am very tired. I need to rest. She says, no, do it again. You're so fast. You're so great. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. So the dragon said, fine. One more time. And off he went. He spread out his wings and whoosh. All the way around the world. But this time it took him 30 seconds. And he was really tired. And he was panting. And tired. And he said, that's it. I'm taking a nap. And he fell right down. And he took a nap. Right there on the floor. And Elizabeth, she looked down at him and she said, hey, dragon. The dragon didn't wake up. She said a little louder, hey, dragon. But the dragon still didn't wake up. So she gave him a little kick. And then she lifted up his ear and said, hey, dragon. But the dragon still didn't wake up because he was so tired. He was completely passed out. So Elizabeth, she stepped right over the dragon, walked up to the door there, knocked on the door, boom, 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 and pulled it open. And there was Ronald inside, looking very handsome in his princess clothes, with his nice princess hairdo, prince hairdo, and prince clothes. Prince clothes, definitely prince clothes. And she said, Ronald, I am here to save you. I tricked the dragon into passing out, and we can take off now. We can go back home. We can rebuild our castle, rebuild our lives, get married, and everything's going to be great. Isn't that great? And Ronald, he looked at Elizabeth. He looked at her paper bag outfit, her messy hair, her all-around dirtiness. And he said, Elizabeth, your hair is a mess. You are very dirty, and that paper bag is not princess material. Come back and rescue me when you are dressed like a proper princess. Well, Elizabeth turned to him and she said, Ronald, your hair is very nice. Your clothes are very nice. You look like a real prince, but you're a bum. And they didn't get married after all. Once upon a time, there was a bridge. On one side of the bridge was barren land. Everything was dried up and dead, and there was nothing good to eat. But on the other side of the bridge was very lush and beautiful, and there was fruit and trees and flowers and all sorts of wonderful things to eat. But no one ever crossed the bridge because right underneath the bridge was a horrible, monstrous troll. Now this troll was so horrible and so nasty and so monstrous that he would eat anything that tried to cross over the bridge, from the awful side to the good side. So no one ever tried, because whoever tried always got eaten. But then one day along came 3 goats who were brothers, all named Gruff, the 3 billy goats Gruff. And they decided they were tired of eating dried out, awful, not tasting good, dead stuff, and they wanted some of the yummy fruit on the other side. So they decided they would cross the bridge one by one. So first, the youngest of the billy goats Gruff crossed. Little tiny guy went across the bridge. So the little tiny goat went across the bridge, and his hooves made a little noise as he crossed the bridge. Trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap. And the troll, he heard it, and he said, "Who's that trip-trapping over my bridge?" And the little tiny goat said, "It's only me, the littlest billy goat Gruff." And the troll said, "Well, I'm gonna come up there, and I'm gonna eat you up." Well, the little billy goat Gruff said, "Oh, you don't want to eat me. I'm so small. I'm so tiny. Why don't you wait till my brother comes along? He's much bigger, much tastier. He would make a much better meal. I'm so tiny and scrawny. I'm not even worth the effort." And the troll, he was hungry, but he was also very lazy, and he decided, why should I climb all the way up there if it's just a little goat? I'll wait till the bigger goat comes. So he said, "Fine, go ahead. You cross over the bridge. I'll eat your brother when he comes." And so the littlest tiny goat, littlest billy goat Gruff, he trip-trapped all the way across the bridge. And then along came his brother after a little bit of while, a slightly bigger billy goat Gruff. And the slightly bigger billy goat gruff crossed across the bridge, trip, trap. And the troll, he heard it, so he jumped up and he said, "Who's that trip-trapping over my bridge?" And the next billy goat gruff brother, he said, "Oh, it's only me, the second billy goat gruff brother." And the troll, he said, "Well, I'm going to come up there and I'm going to eat you up." But the brother, he said, "Oh, you don't want to come up and eat me up. I'm not that big. Wait until my next brother comes across. He's much, much bigger. He'll be a much, much more pleasing meal than me." And so the troll, who was still pretty lazy, even though he was hungry, said, "Fine, you go ahead. You cross that bridge. I'll get your brother when he comes." And the second billy goat gruff said, "Okay." And off he went across the bridge, trip, all the way across. And after a little bit of time, came the third brother across the bridge. And he made a lot more noise than the other two brothers across the bridge. And he went trip, trap across the bridge. And the bridge shook and rattled. And the troll, he thought, "Ooh, this is going to be good. This is a great big goat." And it was a great big goat. And the monster said, the troll, he said, "Who's that trip-trapping across my bridge?" And in a voice just as big, saying, "It's me, the third billy goat gruff." And the monster said, "I'm going to come up there and eat you up." And the third billy goat gruff said, "Come and try it." So up climbed the monster up the bridge, and they saw how big the goat was. The goat was really big. He was huge. He had big, powerful hooves, great, big, sharp horns, and a really hard head. And the monster said, "Oh!" And the goat said, "Come and get me!" And the goat charged him, boom, and rammed into the monster, knocked him off the bridge, into the river, where he floated down off ways, all the way to the end of the river, where there's a waterfall, and went over the waterfall, and he never came back. And the three billy goat gruffs, they stayed on the nice side over there, where all the fruits and the vegetables and the big trees and the shade and the grass and the friendly people and the inexpensive houses were, and they were prospered and they grew fat, and they're probably there still, prospering and getting even fatter. The end. Once upon a time, there was a mother duck and a father duck. They had 7 ducklings. Six of the 7 ducklings were perfect, beautiful little babies, all fuzzy and cute and adorable. But the 7th duckling wasn't so adorable. The 7th duckling, in fact, was a horrendously ugly duckling. A really, really ugly duckling. Now, when the duck family was swimming through the pond, all the other animals in the pond would stop and notice. They'd say, "Look at the duck family. Look at that beautiful family. Look at their adorable children. So fuzzy, so cute, so perfect." Except for that one. Boy, is that one ugly duckling. Now, the really ugly duckling, he would hear people say this, but it wouldn't bother him because he knew deep in his heart that he was a beautiful swan. And one day he would grow up and he would be the biggest and most beautiful animal in all of the pond. Well, one day he did grow up. But he did not grow up into a big, beautiful swan. He just grew up into a big, ugly duck. The end.